What is going on, games? Welcome back to another video, and today we are checking out this 401 retro gaming console. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So just a heads up, I've already opened this thing up and I have taken a look inside, and I kind of broke it, but I kind of fixed it. But don't worry about it, we'll get back to it in just a bit. So inside you'll get, of course, the console itself, which does come with a screen protector pre-installed, which I have already taken off. You'll also get the manual, which is fairly nice and full information for something that is $15 as a retro console. You will also get a mini USB charging cable, as well as an AV cable to display on your TV with mono audio. And lastly, we get the battery itself, which is 800 milliamp hours that runs at 3.7 volts. So here is the console itself, and you have probably seen this thing in a bunch of different variations from different brands with pretty much the same design and layout. This one specifically, of course, is the GoComma, and as I like to call it, the textured model, which has this little weird texture that I don't really like in terms of looks, but it's fine in terms of feel. On the front, we got the speaker, start and select, the reset button, D-pad, and of course the X, Y, A, B buttons right here. On the right side, we have nothing. On the back, we have the battery compartment, which we can put the battery in. On the left side, we have the volume rocker, which is right down here, and the volume does get pretty loud, not too loud. The built-in speaker here doesn't sound too terrible. It's pretty okay. On the top, we have the switch button, which is very nice and tactile, but I fortunately broke it when I took it apart. Here's the mini USB charging port, and of course, the AV port. Anyways, I'm going to show you how this thing performs, how it looks, what the colors are like, what it sounds like, and all that good stuff. And of course, we're going to be taking it apart and showing you how it looks when you're plugged into a TV. So, let's go. Yep. When you open up, this is where you'll be greeted to. Let's put that volume all the way down. And yes, you can completely mute it, which is nice. And you have to pretty much go ahead and flick through the menu of games. And from the looks of it, it seems like it actually has about 312 non-duplicate games, which is pretty impressive. Now, why impressive, you may ask? Well, because usually you'd get like 100 and then the rest are just duplicates of the same thing. Now, the other nice thing about this thing is that every game here is actually properly labeled. Unlike some other retro consoles, they actually make up some random names and you have no idea what you're playing, like Plumber Boy 64 or something. It's a bunch of random stuff on other consoles, but everything here is properly labeled. And inside this list, of course, you will find some knockoff games such as Angry Bird, which we'll take a look at in just a bit. And you will also find some stuff such as Contra 24-in-1, which comes in 24 variations of Contra, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and play some games. Alright, so you guys have saw the games, you saw how it sounds pretty decent, and the display here, it's not the best, of course. The colors are not accurate, but with that said, it does give you some very nice visuals in terms of pixel density and aspect ratio. It really looks like and feels like it is actually running at the native resolution with the native aspect ratio. So, how are the controls here? Well, the D-pad here does feel pretty okay when you first lay your hands on it before playing anything, and the X, Y, A, B buttons that we have here do also feel pretty nice, and the start and select are nice and bumpy. But of course, the problem will come when you start playing games, especially accuracy games like Contra. If you're aiming diagonally or pressing two D-pad buttons at the same time, you're going to have a hard time aiming. Sometimes it won't register, and your character won't be aiming in the right place, you might be crouching, it won't happen. It just feels like there's some ghosting issues where it can't handle more than 3 buttons at the same time. But nonetheless, it is something that you gotta keep in mind when buying this thing. Again, this thing is about $15, and I wasn't expecting too much of it, but it actually has surprised me in terms of performance. Anyways, let's go ahead and plug it into my TV, and we're gonna see what it looks like. It's not as bad as I thought. It's running at 60 FPS, and the controls are pretty responsive with this specific game because they're very simple. And it works. I mean, does it look good? No. The audio is actually pretty decent. It's just that the AV signal here is just pretty bad. Other than that, everything looks and plays pretty nicely here, I have to say. Alright, so to take it apart, it is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is actually take apart 6 screws on the outside and 1 on the inside right over here. Then we have the display, the controls, and all the buttons over here. And surprisingly, the display here is actually not soldered. You can take it apart. The good old block where the memory is probably for the games. And of course, we have another expansion chip from 2005. So that's where I broke the switch. It's a micro switch. I actually ordered a pack of 20. Add it for future projects, and I'll just replace this and put this on my shelf. And here's what the display looks like when it is on and taken apart. And that is pretty much it for this video. So what do I think about this thing? Is it worth your money? Is it worth $15? Well, for the downsides and upsides of this thing, for $15, you're actually getting a pretty decent deal. I mean, you got games that are playable and are official NES games. And honestly, it's kind of a throwaway console. Anyways, I see a spider right over there. It's actually kind of a ladybug thing. Let me get my camera, hold on. It's a pretty interesting bug. I'll include that in the video. Anyways, guys, that is all for this video. Thank you all for watching. Again, look forward for the BitBoy video. It's going to be a pretty exciting video. If you're looking for a retro console, you're going to definitely enjoy that one. It's going to have a lot of features, a custom firmware with a pretty nice, awesome UI, and it comes in a smaller package, and of course, with an SD card. Anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you all for watching. See you guys in the next one, and take care, everyone.